you talked about how thankless of a position it can be. Um, Tell me about a time though where you said it's worth it.
Man, I was working in the 10th precinct, which is the west side of Manhattan. It's called Chelsea, that section of the west side. I was working at 4 to 12, basically working 4 p.m. till midnight. I just happened to be covering another shift. We used to have these SRO, single room occupancy hotels for homeless people. We get a run of a gentleman on the rooftop of this building. He wanted to jump off the building. I get there. My partner's with me at the time. We get up to the roof. So he's standing on a ledge. So, and I'm trying to describe it. So here's a wall. He's standing on the other side of that wall. Basically, he's about 7 stories high. Talking to the gentleman, I go, "Hey, what's going on?" Now, the whole time he was facing me. I'm speaking to him. Basically, he wanted to kill himself because he just found out he was HIV positive. This is 1997, 98. Talking to him, I told my partner, I go, "Hey, do you have emergency services unit coming here?" He goes, "Yeah, I just called them. I could hear him on the radio. See if they could set up an airbag." So keep talking to the gentleman, and I'm telling him, "Hey, man, it's not that bad. Listen, don't do it, whatever." So he just gave me this look that he goes, "I'm going." He basically starts turning around, facing down towards the street. I looked at my partner. I go, "Hey, he's going." As he was starting to go, leaning forward, I jump over this wall, grab him. My partner grabs me by my gun belt. Now, he's leaning halfway out. I'm holding on to him.
He was going. There was no.
I looked at my partner. I say some expletive words. I go, "Hey, pull me back." And he was, pretty guy worked out. He pulled both of us back. The words, hugged the guy. I said, "Hey, man." Hey, he was apologizing to me. "Hey, I almost took you." I said, "Hey, it's all good." So that's what, and that was like a routine job for us.
Isn't that interesting, though, that it now turns around and he starts apologizing to you?
Yeah. And it kills me because people, cops are, they're racist, they're this and that. A week later, I'm doing a protest, which is crazy. It was.
And when you say doing a protest, you mean working the event to keep the protesters?
Yeah, I'm working this protest, and I was called. It was, which is ironically brings me back to the story. The guy, he was gay, but the protest I was being called, cops are homophobic and all that. I'm like, hey, well, last week, I just saved this guy, and I didn't do it for the money. I didn't do it for the glory. It was just part of the job.
So, I mean, hold on. There's so much to unpack there, Gus. Okay, so this guy is. I mean, there was no. It wasn't a ruse of any kind. He was going.
He was going. Yeah.
And had you not done what you did, and your partner not been able to grab your belt and hold both of you, he was dead.
Yeah.
And so, because of your actions, this guy who thinks the world is over because he had contracted HIV, now turns around to you and says, "I'm sorry I put you in that position."
Yeah.
And then a week later, you're actually protecting the right of people to protest under the Constitution.
Yeah.
And they're telling you how bad you are.
Yeah, I'm a racist. I'm a homophobic.
Golly. I mean, okay, so I can take that in a lot of different ways, but I want you to tell me what you in back-to-back weeks, you saw extremes happening.
Yeah, 2 extremes.
What did you walk away with? What goes through your mind about people, about life at that point?
There's a lot of uninformed people. They see everything through a lens, And listen, I don't know everything, but you have to open up your mind. Yeah, it's just crazy.
So if your daughter walked through the door right now
Mm-hmm.
and she said, you're trying to give her the condensed version of what she needs to take away from this very thing, what are you telling her?
I always tell my daughter, treat people the way you want to be treated.
Just the simple golden rule.
Simple golden rule. Okay, I don't care if the gentleman there that's mowing a lawn, the same way you speak to that gentleman that's mowing a lawn, you speak to the CEO of a huge, large company. And people have told me that, hey, Gus, you don't change. You're the same. You could be talking to, simple homeless person the same way you speak to, obviously, depending on the situation. But it's just, I treat everybody the same. I don't care what color you are. Listen, and I had this thing in the NYPD, if you're a piece of garbage, you're a piece of garbage. If you're a straight shooter, we're going to get along fine. And I always treated people like, it's always worked for me. I mean, 55 years, knock on wood.